Hey, welcome back to Album April. It's April 21st, and today I listened to Blood on the Tracks by Bob Dylan. Critics, particularly the ones at Rolling Stone magazine, love Bob Dylan. He has a bunch of albums on their top 500 list, including one in the top 10. Blood on the Tracks is number 9 on the list. I checked it out, and my first impression after hearing a couple songs from it was, this album is going to be a huge slog to get through. Blood on the Tracks is my least favorite album of this month so far. It's like Blue, except all the parts I didn't like about Blue were amplified. I don't have much experience with Bob Dylan in general, but I can say that I found this album to be incredibly repetitive and tedious. I damn near fell asleep listening to Blood on the Tracks. Most of the songs on this album can be summed up with this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, on and on and on until the song ends. It also doesn't help that a lot of these songs are kind of samey sounding. A lot of them just have Bob Dylan with a guitar, and then there's a harmonica at the end. I had similar complaints about Blue by Joni Mitchell, but in that album's defense, there was a lot more variety in the songs, and Joni Mitchell is a far better vocalist than Bob Dylan. It's kind of like the music industry's worst kept secret that Bob Dylan is not a very good singer. That wasn't really a problem in Blood on the Tracks, though, because he kind of kept to a very middle range and didn't really try to push himself vocally. I do have a lot of problems with this album, but it wasn't all bad. The last 3 songs were okay, and out of them, my favorite was If You See Her, Say Hello. It's a song about the one that got away. The narrator realizes that he's messed things up in a way that he can't fix, and has accepted that. He wants her to have a good life, but still thinks of her from time to time. Apparently, there's some speculation about just how much of the songs on this album are based in Bob Dylan's real life, but this one I would easily believe came from somewhere real. I would also classify Shelter from the Storm and Buckets of Rain as not bad. But I did have issues with the 7 other songs on this album. A lot of these were mediocre, boring in my opinion, but I hold particular ire for Lily, Rosemary, and the Jack of Hearts. Song 7 on Blood on the Tracks I would describe less as a song and more like a novel. It's almost 9 minutes long and it feels like 9 hours. There was so much happening. There were so many characters. There was a bank robbery, a hanging, I think a love triangle. I lost track of what was even going on. And I think that's more of a tick against the song instead of against me, because I don't think I should need to take notes in order to listen to a song. And it just kept going and going and going. And that brings us to the final question of, do I think this album holds up? I do not. Listening to this album kind of felt like required reading for high school, old books that are boring that you don't want to read, but you have to anyway. That probably sounds really callous, but that is kind of how I saw this album. Bob Dylan is generally seen as a songwriter good enough to make up for his lack of singing prowess. I did not get that impression from Blood on the Tracks. I did not like this album at all. So hopefully I'll see you tomorrow with one that I like more.